Ambrose, we're here for this historic fight today, press conference to announce this historic fight. Can I start with the backlash that it faced when it was announced? I mean, what was your perspective on that, the way that the rival promoters went after it and tried to belittle what was happening?
Yeah, look, it's typical of the rival promoters, and here you're talking about, Warren, you're talking about Eddie Hearn. Yeah, of course they're going to come up with these, because everybody tries to be creative and innovative. Mandate with Eubank, obviously, is to get him up on that world platform. And to that end, of course, we succeeded marvellously.
How instrumental were you in bringing this whole deal to fruition?
Well, I must have been doing something right. Typical, you hang around somewhere long enough, poor little black kid comes in and da-da-da. No, it would be nice if people do recognise the fact that I am consistent. It's been a long time, but it's strange the way things work themselves out. Obviously, now you look at the situation with the Eubanks, and they are now almost on the point of becoming a phenomenon. ITV coming back into boxing, Big Fights Live. Of course, I was instrumental in Big Fights Live being created in the first instance. We still talk about Ben Eubank, Ben Watson, that whole amazing era. There was a reason it came about, and I think that can be replicated, but so that it evolves into today. I've said many times, we are in the most rapidly advancing technologically era man's ever known, ever. It's all embracing. Social media has delivered, Donald Trump to where he is, Brexit and everything else, and even Gambia. We've seen a tyrant of a leader out after 23 years because of the power of social media, smartphones and everything else. So I think Eubanks have always embraced social media. Now it's time to deliver the goods. You heard the statements that Senior made. Lots of his comments and those of Junior were valedictory. It's all exciting. And when things started from the beginning, somebody silly figures £17 to what? It's not. It's less than a tenner. I don't go out on Friday, Saturday or Sunday anymore. I used to. Your mates and everything will tell you that I was king of those scenarios. But now I find myself sitting at home and deciding what I'm, go out, go have something to eat, come back home. Well, in this instance, there is now something that I'm used to paying for things anyway. You look at Netflix, wherever you're going to get something from, I'm used to paying for it. And less than a tenner to watch history, to watch a card that stands up to any card presented in London in the last 5 years.
I was going to say, the undercard's not too shoddy. A lot of people were kind of keeping an eye on how that played out, and it looks all right, looks competitive.
The undercard, David Price is in a 50-50 fight. Kid Galahad, I used to represent Joseph Agbiko. He fought Rigondeaux, lost on points. Darcinian, he beat him. Of course, was world champion. And, Adam Etches, going up against John Ryder. John Ryder, so pleasing on the eye, it's untrue. There are, Selby coming in, and he's got a difficult fight. In fact, I think every fight, and given the situation with Eubank Jr. and Quinlan coming to the table, he can punch. He can punch, and I know a lot was made of his Aboriginal background when we were in there, but this is where the fortitude comes in. 10,000 miles, hike over here, into the other guy's territory. Okay, so he's being handsomely paid. But nevertheless, it's a huge risk. But as he knows, he wins this fight, his next fight, he'll get $1 million. No exaggeration or nothing, he'll get $1 million.
Before I talk about the opponent, I want to dwell on the whole ITV thing. Do you see this? I mean, this show's great. It's a nice, opening foray into pay-per-view boxing, but there's some big fights out there with independent fighters that are not with no promotional teams that could arguably gravitate this way. Is that something you expect?
Come this direction, because the mandate is to deliver the big fights live. We're not interested in who wins, we're interested in the quality of the fight. We're interested in people on social media saying, you got to watch this fight. It costs you a tenner to flick over and this fight is on now. You got to watch it. And they go on there. They don't know who's fighting, but they know it's seriously exciting. That was the secret of the WWF, the WWE. you know, the UFC. It was all about the quality of the performance. So do I see, and can I say, will we be featuring any of these standoffish, you know, don't hit me and I won't hit you? No, we will not. We will not. We talk about great fights 30 years ago because of the content, what they were about. And we got this manifest impregnation of the subconscious of excellence, you know, and whoever, whether Eddie Hearn was delivering it, going back, of course, whether Frank Warren, whether Mickey Duff, the great fights are always remembered because there was a live wire in each corner. You know, plain and simple. So on here, there are big names out there. And if they want to fight, yeah, as long as legally they are able, they're not constrained by agreements anywhere else, they'll come into the melting pot. It's all going to result in ITV becoming the lead name in the pay-per-view market in this country.
Before it happened, you didn't really think there was room for another broadcaster, but here they come and it all looks rosy. Back to the opponent. Has he got a chance, really?
Well, Eubank is the opponent.
Oh, sorry, yeah. Rightly corrected, yeah. Back to the champion.
Has he got a chance? You know,
just given his record and just...
Senior Spokes has only got one defeat, and that's...
In how many?
And that's... yeah, we will say that. We will absolutely say that, but then this argument wasn't really put forward and defeated with our own AJ. You know, we all thought that, you know, Charles Martin was going to be a step too soon and everything else, etc. This kid is an Aborigine. You know, they're coming from places, and he was really magnanimous of him, the way he spoke in terms of forgiveness, particularly given that yesterday was Australia Day, you know, the day when the day that Aborigines hate, you know, because of what it was about and everything.
Be like the American Thanksgiving.
Yeah, Thanksgiving for what? That's what I'm saying. You know, that we know that there are people who are afflicted, and the humility of one of the camp, Quinlan's camp, in trying to explain things. It's not docile, it was tactile, make no mistake about it. And of course, we all go for tomorrow. This kid believes in tomorrow. He believes, looking into his eyes. In fact, look on a poster and look at both sets of eyes. You know, they both believe they're going to win this fight. And if you take on board the way Senior broke this down, you know, in analysis, there is a recipe of how to win. You know, has he got a game plan? His game plan is offence. That's what it is. And if you watch, obviously, his world title win, he's more than capable of delivering that. So in terms of who do I think will win, I think, obviously, Eubank will win. Do I think it will be easy? No. It won't be easy.
Thanks for your time. Can you just give a word to our viewers, readers, all the rest of it, how they can watch this fight clearly?
Yeah, I can. And if I had everything in front of me, no. If you go on to ITV, the easiest way is to go online to ITV Live and follow the instructions. Probably take you about 25, 30 seconds. It's so simple. It's not the education that we had to go through to get on Sky in the beginning. As everybody knows, things have moved on. We're in the smartphone era. It's really simple, and the most important thing is the value you're going to get.
How much is it?
$9.95.
There you go. Thanks a lot.
$9.95. We can all afford that.